Hey guys, my name is Gracie Hapney. You may know me as Gracie Writes Books off of Wattpad, and this is my life, or my testimony. So I guess I should explain what a testimony is. You think it sounds religious, but really, it is a religious word. In most cases, it's used in a court of law or in religious practices. But the correct definition of the word is a story given by a witness. And a good example of that would be if you're at school and you see a fight, you go up to the office and they'll give you a piece of paper and say, write down what you saw. And that would be an example of a testimony, what you saw. So basically, what you've experienced. And so, this is pretty much the story of my life, up until now at least. So, here we go. When I was little, I was born into a Christian family. I was born into a church. So I had always had the faith of Jesus in my heart, and I had always believed that he was there, so I was pretty much automatically saved in that kind of sense. And what it means to be saved is for you to give your heart to Jesus. And when I was I believed in him from the very beginning, so I believe I was saved back then, but I didn't really act like it, especially as I was growing up. But I was like the sweetest little child ever. Every other person, I give them a little card saying I love you, and it was really cute, and I remember making those as well. I know I used to make a lot for my mom and dad. So, anyways, moving on. Not much happened. I was a naive and young girl. My mom and dad pretty much made a protective barrier against everything that ever was, like suicide and depression, and so I didn't know all that existed, especially when it hit me hard. During my elementary years, people would make fun of me, and they'd call me Granny. I was different, and they didn't really like it. That didn't necessarily mean I didn't have any friends. I had plenty of friends, but I never really talked to them. And there was this one girl that hated me, and her name was Chloe, but she doesn't really come into the story anywhere. She was just one obstacle away from everything. So, moving on, and Chloe had moved away, and a new girl had moved in, and her name was Rachel Price. And so, in 5th grade, I had kind of sort of already become the bully now, because I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand doing it. In that school, I felt like there was only two choices: be a bully or be bullied. So, I mean, there was nothing I could really do. So, I mean, I became the bully for a little while. I'd lie to get others in trouble, even if they made me mad over the most important things, because I was a good person. Like, they'd believe me, but the office wouldn't believe me, and I'll tell you a little bit more of that in a little bit. So, they started bullying me more often because I was starting to get a little bit more meaner and feistier in what I'm saying and what I'm doing. So oftenly I would add on to their offenses, like they would make me cry on the playground and all this, even though none of it really even happened. So eventually, I just went to the office about it and told them the whole truth. And you want to know what they did? They did absolutely nothing. So I told my mom and dad that these people were bullying me and weren't being really nice to me. They told me to write a letter, and kids, it didn't really work. Me being the naive child I was, I actually believed them, and I did it, and yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So, anyways, that happened, and so that was a really depressing stage in my life. Because it just felt like there was nobody to have a shoulder on. Because my friends I had earlier weren't really paying attention to me as much as they should have been. The only person I really had was Rachel, and I hung out with her a lot. And this was when I started thinking, like, what am I feeling? Because this isn't normal. Like, I I didn't know what depression was. Because my mom and dad made a pretty big barrier and pretty thick barrier. I didn't know what cutting was, and I didn't know what suicide was. It was only until like Wattpad that I really knew what it was. So,